I have been seeing these Minecraft Steve variants all over YouTube, and I wondered, what are they, what's their history, and is there a bigger picture to them? So I spent more than 10 hours researching 8 of these Steves. Starting with Diddy Steve. You're wondering, why is the Steve variant called Diddy Steve? Well, to better understand, we gotta go all the way back to 2012. Now, if you were in this era of YouTube, there was some weird videos people back then put on the internet. So let me introduce you to one of the most unhinged YouTubers, Gonzo SSM. He is this really great animator with a unique art style having a cartoony-like theme, making you think his videos are for kids, but his videos are anything but for kids. They're packed with dark humor and silly gags, making you rethink your life decisions. For example, his videos like League of Legends fail, Team Fortress 2 fail, but none come worse to the video Minecraft fail. When first clicking on the video, we're met with the title card, kind of like the Steve here starts building a house. And when first playing Minecraft back in the good old days of 2012 on the consoles, we all created something like this at least once. But suddenly, a very girthy and veiny creeper is sneaking up on him, attempting to blow the house that Steve just made. Except this Steve is one I wouldn't mess with. Why? Well, just take a look at this clip.
You were gonna blow up my house.
Now I can't dive deeper since YouTube is not gonna be so happy if I tell you what happens to the creeper. But with the name Diddy Steve, you can probably guess what happens to him. This video is currently age restricted, so I highly recommend do not search this video. You will not like it at all. Also, what I didn't tell you guys is that I'll actually be rating all these Steve variants. And we'll be rating them by looks, strengths, and how strange they are. Now, watching the video of this Steve variant, I honestly think it's pretty high up there in the weird scale. Like, back in 2012, I have no idea why I was watching this. I was like a 12-year-old kid not knowing what I'm watching. Strength-wise, this Steve is not that strong. He's strong in other places. If we really think about it, he just was able to kind of beat the creeper fairly easily. It just kind of like took him one punch. But if you took a look at his muscles, like, it's pretty big. I'll say he's pretty big. And looks-wise, he is gorgeous. I mean, just look at this man. He is handsome. But overall, researching this guy, he doesn't have much to him besides, you know, that one scene. So I give him 3 out of 5 stars. Next is Smash Steve. In 2020, Steve was revealed to be the next character put in Smash Bros. Ultimate. This reveal had lots of players shocked.
Wall? From the game? Master Hand? Can't be Master Hand. What? But no! No! I have the creeper! It's not Steve! It's not freaking Steve! If it's Steve, I'm dead! If it's Steve! If it's Steve! What? What? What the hell?
But the thing is, not many people didn't know at the time that this Steve would completely break the meta in Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you haven't played this game, I'll keep it simple for you. What makes this character special from the rest are 2 things. Steve being able to place blocks, and also Steve being able to mine. Him mining is what gets him the materials to place blocks, but also craft tools. You'll begin with wooden tools, a sword, pickaxe, and shovel. Whenever you use the crafting table, your tools will automatically upgrade to the highest tier material you currently have. These materials go from wood, stone, iron, gold, and diamond, with wood being the weakest and diamond being the strongest, dealing more damage as well as knockback. But if you combine these with his other unique moves, the minecart, Advil, and his other attacks, you get a character so hard to beat if used correctly. Kinda like this.
70% to his name, not too bad. All right, juggling up and down the stage right now. Akala trying to even the percents back up, and then all it takes is one Steve combo to put it right back to just about even. And
no big swing with the up air. Up air, nobody home for that one. Oh my goodness,
good.
Akola!
That's sick! Yo,
Is he skipping ice climbers?
Nana's gone!
Is this a thing?
Wait,
oh my God!
no.
What the law?
It's actually gotten so bad, people were saying Steve should be banned. Now this Steve variant, Smash Steve, is not that bad. Like, you know, he came from Smash Bros Ultimate. He just comes out of the game out of nowhere, leaves players shocked, and then ends up being one of the most broken characters in the game. His strength is up there. Some of the combos this guy Akola did is like crazy. Looks wise, he's kind of just normal, regular Steve. Like, he's not that cool. You know, he's not that cool looking. Weird wise, he's like, out of all of the people in this Steve variants list, he's the least weird. All in all, what Smash Steve gets is a 2 out of 5. While Smash Steve was pretty normal, Grotesque Steve takes it to a different level. This Steve variant is seen in the mod Grotesque Steve, where it adds this weird looking Steve. His face almost looks real, but just put in Minecraft. When playing with this mod, he can spawn at the worst times and try and grab you. You'll know if he's near when certain happy kind of music starts playing. From here, your best bet is trying to run away from him because fighting him won't end well at all. Grotesque Steve has this unsettling animation while running. He sticks out his tongue while his arms try to grab you, and when you get grabbed, this is what will happen. Yeah, this Steve is very down bad. Because of its weird model and gameplay, many YouTubers started to take notice, even downloading the mod, calling it the freakiest mod in Minecraft. Then making a gameplay of it, which does give us some pretty funny reactions. We all know the regular mobs that attack you like Endermen, skeletons, and zombies, but this mob doesn't attack you, he straight up touches you. It's been told for the things that this Steve variant does. This mod actually has been banned as well. Now, looking at his looks, this Steve deserves like a 5 out of 5 of looks. He's weird, he has this weird stunk sticking out, he looks nothing like Steve. I definitely think looks wise, he is looking beautiful and kind of unsettling to look at. Strength wise, he is a strong mob. Like this Steve, like once you get grabbed, he starts licking you, it's over for you, buddy, you're dead. And overall, this guy is crazy. Like, I don't know who had the thought of making this mod. Like, what is this? So this guy might actually be our first 4 out of 5 Steve. So props to Grotesque Steve for making it 4 out of 5. Next, we'll go to Admin Jesse. If you remember in the late Minecraft era with DanTDM, popular MMOs, and Stampy Cat, you can remember the game Minecraft Story Mode. Crazy how we're probably all in our 20s now, or teenagers, wishing to come back to that time of our lives. Anyways, I'm gonna stop coping. In Minecraft Story Mode, we technically meet this game's version of Steve, being Jesse. You can choose to be a girl or guy, but neither is named Steve. Both are called Jesse. So basically Jesse is Steve in Minecraft Story Mode, just to make that clear. But this isn't Admin Jesse yet. In Minecraft Story Mode lore, the admins are 3 people, Fred, Zara, and Romeo. And to explain their powers, the admins are in creative mode. They can fly, create new worlds, disguise themselves, and spawn and create their own mobs. When playing Minecraft Story Mode, this is shown with all the bosses you fight in the game that aren't even in Minecraft. But the main admin we're focusing on is Romeo, who begins to disguise himself as Jesse. Sounds crazy, but let me explain. Romeo is the main antagonist in Minecraft Story Mode, where we are first introduced to him in Season 2 here in Residence as the Prismarine Colossus. In this part, we get put in a boss fight with this gigantic testosterone-filled beast. After weaving some more, you're met with a choice in the game to save 2 of your friends, where it doesn't really matter on who you choose. The admin then put a hole in the ceiling, causing a waterfall to come down for Jesse and everyone to escape. Now, back on the mainland, Jesse's hand calls to him. As you would have guessed, it's the admin. And before we can see him, we witness Stampy Cat's very much peak voice acting skills. While everyone's running away, the admin is shown to come. In the later episode, it's revealed what Romeo actually looks like in the game with his gray skin, red hair, and iconic red eyes. In this scene, we get to see the admin's personality, where he gets mad at Jesse for the most petty things. Since the admin, aka Romeo, has no friends and no one likes him, he decided to change his form into Jesse, because Jesse is the opposite of what the admin is. He has plenty of friends and everyone likes him. As Jesse, the admin starts making Beacon Town his own image. Here we also see the most messed up part in Minecraft Story Mode.
It's just so easy for something bad to happen to a town. Like Champion City, for example.
Wait, what are you...
Put that hand down, Romeo!
Zara! I mean, do I know you?
Zara, what is she doing?
Don't play dumb with me, Romeo. Whatever Jesse here told you, it's all a lie!
No. I'm afraid that's where you stop talking. Goodbye, old friend.
Now, Admin Jesse is pretty cool. Looks wise, I really like the iconic eyes and the way his farmer suit goes. And being Romeo with like this cool lore of him in Minecraft story mode kind of like makes me reminisce of the good old days, you know, back in 2012 with all these Minecraft YouTubers. Now, looks wise, yeah, he is definitely cool. Out of 5 out of 5. I really like the design of him. The red eyes, it's just very unsettling. Now, strength-wise, this guy is through the roof. He has crazy creative power. He can turn into any mob. Like, this guy is OP. He can destroy blocks. He can make his own blocks. Romeo is definitely a big threat. So, strength-wise, he's up there too. Weird-wise, he's really not that weird. Like, he's a relatively actual normal human being, unlike Grotesque Steve. So, weird-wise, he's really not up there, but why does he need to be weird? So we're gonna give Admin Jesse 3 out of 5 stars. Not bad, not bad, not too shabby, not too shabby. While Admin Jesse was all the way back near 2015, let's talk about something more recent. Movie Steve. This Steve variant was a normal human being before coming to the Minecraft universe. We get to see a flashback of him as a kid with his blue shirt, dark blue jeans, and pickaxe on hand looking over at the mines. But he gets blocked by this old dude. After that traumatic event, Steve ended up never returning to the mines because of that old guy. So Steve did what any rational person would do. Finish elementary, middle, and high school, and get stuck to a dead-end job selling doorknobs. Dang, this movie is getting a little too real. After thinking about his life choices, Steve randomly starts playing with his food, crafting a sort of mine out of his food, which gives him the bright idea to come back to that same mine he was gonna go in as a kid. Dad bod ready, he meets that same old dude, who is still exactly the same. They rush at each other, but this time Steve breaks the guy's ankles and... Now in the mines, he grabs this thingy and this thingy. Keep this in your mind, it's important. After putting the thingy and the thingy, he opens this portal and you won't believe what world he gets put in. He starts placing blocks, building houses, and creating his great kingdom. That's now falling into pieces. Steve and friends then get attacked by the piglins, because this little pig wanted the orb to have world domination, or something like that. And if you remember, it's this thingy that Steve used to get into Minecraft. Now because of this orb, a flat out war happens. And this war, like, it's crazy. There's a bunch of piglins attacking a bunch of iron golems, Steve fighting all the other goons. Like, this is a flat out war. This is like almost similar to like Avengers Endgame type war. Now the similarities of these guys are a little too clear of copy. But I think one of the cool things that they added in this war is this swiftness iron golem. Like, take a look at this guy. Like, look at him. He's all swifty. Once the war is done, the Steve wanted to go back to the real world and we get a happy ending. Now movie Steve looks wise, being Jack Black, he doesn't look the best. I'm just gonna say it right now. Looks wise, I'm not messing with Steve being Jack Black. They could have chose any other real person to be Steve, but Jack Black just wasn't it. But strength wise, he's just also like a normal human that can just do regular Minecraft things like placing blocks, making diamond swords, and the way he beat those zombies weren't really anything too special, you know, it's just pretty normal. During the war, he didn't do much as well. But overall, weird wise, I'd say it's pretty it's pretty up there. I didn't expect for this like whole portal thing to happen, right? So it's overall just like a new experience for me. But out of all that, there's really not much to say about Movie Steve. I think I'm just gonna be really biased. I'm just gonna give Movie Steve a 2 out of 5. Soulless Steve. This Steve variant is, in my opinion, would be the evil variant of Steve. Some of the things we'll cover about this guy is pretty messed up, so be ready for it. This Steve in the so far 3-part series, Minecraft A Villager's Night, created by Avocado Animations. Now, Avocado is quite similar to Gonzo SSM, with the concept of his stories being relatively dark. But if you thought Diddy Steve was bad, this Steve takes it to a whole new level. Starting with a Minecraft A Villager's Night 1, we start off with an average looking villager house during the quiet night. In the house is a realistic looking villager sleeping until he hears a weird sound that sounded like bricks tumbling into the ground. So what any normal person would do, he investigates onto what that sound actually is. Standing up and going to the door, opening it. We see his reaction, shocked on what he sees. This village is getting griefed. People running, babies crying, villagers getting poofed. Who in the world did this? The villager looks to the left and finds out. An iron golem attempts to stop Steve, running towards him hoping to finish Steve off. But with one slice, the iron golem gets game ended while our main villager we just saw watches in terror, now being only a rose that the iron golem leaves behind. That wraps up part 1, a shocking start to the series. I've seen this video many times, but the overall goated visual storytelling Avocado does is something not to be overlooked. From finding out Steve was the one who's pretty much destroying this village, to our main character being the villager looking over it while not being able to do anything, or else he may get poofed by Steve as well. Kinda makes me feel bad for doing all the stuff I did to villagers back when I was a kid, from dropping them to high places or game ending them without a second thought. I'm glad Minecraft is just a video game and nothing like we see in this video. However, what's the backstory of this villager from part 1, and the lore behind them until Steve arrived? Well, that's actually what we learn in part 2. In the beginning, we're back to how things were in part 1, but then get sent to a flashback. We look over at the village in daytime, everything seemingly to be peaceful. Villagers talking, kids playing, and our main character, Villager, which we find the actual name for being her. He's holding this emerald until this iron golem sneaks up on him, asking a favor to the villager, to quote unquote help him ask out this girl. They start joking around, being boys, you know, the usual. They go to try and meet the girl the golem was talking about, which turns out to be a hot stud. But by the look of her's face, look at her's face, he's just shocked by the beauty of this thing. The Iron Golem starts simping hard for the flower, and her and Iron Golem have a heart-to-heart, as if they're back in high school. But suddenly, a spider attempts to attack her, except the Iron Golem was able to poof it. Her thanks to the Iron Golem, with him replying that he will always have his back. Everything is wholesome until her gets put back to reality. We cut back to when Golem gets game ended, leaving behind the flower, which we see get stomped by Steve. Steve walks over to her and they meet both face to face. With her now having severe PTSD, he aims to try and no word Steve. We then cut as to why Steve was destroying that village. You won't believe this, he wasn't actually trying to destroy the village, but his chaos was just an add-on for his more sinister plan, locking up certain villager types and having a villager farm portrayed like jail. Minecraft Villager's Night Part 3. In this episode, we have her trying to convince all the other villagers to take revenge. But unlike her, these villagers are far too scared. So her ends up leaving, attempting to game end Steve by himself, pretty much asking for a death wish. We cut to her starting up his camp, failing both to start a fire and chop wood. He even gets stung by bees. But back to the villager farm, Steve trades some boots and gave the guy an emerald. The next one wasn't so lucky. He didn't have anything to trade, so Steve did this. Going back to her, he wakes up, getting ambushed by a skeleton. He gets sniped, now thinking to himself that it's over for him, until a trident comes out of nowhere. And we see a villager just like her, but with glowing eyes, and he was the one who threw the trident. Well, this is so far what we have with this ongoing series. We need to give Avocado some serious props for his work. The amount of time it takes to make this is crazy. Hopefully, as the series plays on, we get to know more about this Steve in this universe. Because right now, he's just a psychopath with no emotions to the horrendous things he does to these villagers. All in all, this series is a great perspective of Steve from the eyes of others. Maybe we should reconsider what we do in Minecraft. Now, this Steve variant is strong. Like, absolutely wiping the villagers, killing the iron golem in one slice. This guy is crazy. Like I said, I think I've said crazy way too many times, cause he's just that crazy. Now, looks wise, I really like the realistic style Avocado went for with the really square head and like Steve's nose. And almost always this Steve has a very plain look on his face while committing these heinous actions, which I think just adds more into his design. Weird wise, this Steve isn't that weird, but like I said, this guy doesn't even deserve to be weird. He is sinister. And this is why I say he's the evil Steve. So I give him a 4 out of 5. Up next is Real Steve. In our universe, we do have a Steve. That being the YouTuber Kari. Kari is a TikToker and YouTuber, widely recognized for his viral short form content, especially within the gaming and meme culture. With 600k subs and 2 million followers on TikTok, it's hard to not know who this guy is. But if it's your first time knowing him, this is an example of his content.
Tutorial. You want a tutorial on how to get your head like mine? My guy, I don't know. I don't know how my head got like this. What am I supposed to teach you?
So how is this guy Real Steve? Well, with the way he has his head shaped in a very nice symmetrical square, he's often rage baited by his fans, giving us this reaction. I mean, some of the stuff that his fans say are outright crazy. One guy said, and I quote, "When people say to square up, he took it literally." Okay, with all jokes aside, can we just appreciate this man real quick? Because Kari doesn't put a filter on or sleek editing to make his head square. His head is just square. And if you think about it, growing up, he must have got picked on by others, or at least they noticed without saying anything. Like, what if these comments before playing with the joke actually hurt him in some way? Because that's not something he can control. We all have our insecurities that we got born with, whether that be our body, face, wishing we can change those things about ourselves due to what other people think or what we think. But Kari was different. He used his square head as fuel. Instead of hiding it or letting people get onto him, he flipped the script. He turned what others might have mocked into something that now makes millions of people's days just a bit better. While we live in a world of filters, needing to be perfect and pretending, but Kari chose to be just himself and play with the part. Now he's seen a massive success, and honestly, looking at his Insta, he's living the dream, even if the dream is being Minecraft Steve. Now this Steve variant, looks wise, he's a handsome devil. I will admit, bro is so handsome. Like his very nice square head, the nice beard, the nice green hair where he's talking about being a Minecraft block. Looks wise with socks on, 5 out of 5 looks wise. Strength wise, this guy is pretty strong. You see him going to the gym, you see him hitting the weights, and when he gets mad and you don't want to mess with him. And weird wise, there's really nothing weird about him besides his very strange content, getting mad. But he plays a character and it's all for fun and jokes. So I think this guy might be our first 5 out of 5. Up next is Skin Tight Steve. Unlike Kari, where everyone was calling him Steve, then denies it, this Steve variant fulls on plays the part. Meet Minecraft Steve IRL. He's a mostly TikToker that uploads short form skits that is a more or less Minecraft related. This Steve wears a skin tight suit. You know those really tight costumes that are budget friendly for Halloween? Yeah, those costumes. But this one is Steve. Now I tried to see if I could get this suit online for myself, but I kid you not, I couldn't find it at all. The costumes I could find were the ones with actually a square head Steve mask, not the skin tight one, which makes me think this guy had this costume custom built, or I'm just completely blind. Now this is pretty much all I can find about his character, simply just wearing a costume, but I did find something interesting. Canonically, both Real Steve and Skin Suit Steve actually met in person. Now this is important to know some lore about this universe, because if you watch the edits, We're shown both Steves flying through the air where it switches to a hole in Minecraft, showing real Steve and skin tight Steve on a Swiftness Iron Golem. Without context, this Steve is pretty hard to understand on why this is happening. Well, this edit is inspired by the Invincible comic, when two Invincible variants fight off Tech Jacket, where the two panels are the exact same as the Minecraft edits. Learning that Tech Jacket and the long-haired Invincible went from space to Earth while fighting, causing that hole in the ground. The part where real Steve is yelling and making a thumbs up motion is a copy of this Invincible variant saying Tech Jacket isn't in his universe, telling us this Iron Golem is in another universe that just so happens to come out of here somehow. The last part of the Minecraft edit is Skin Tight Steve looking at the Iron Golem, where we have no further information. But in the Invincible comic, what ends up happening is Tech Jacket's lasers ended up hitting long-haired Invincible, burning his face, then activating a self-destruct mode where he blows himself up and the other two Invincible variants. Even though everything around is destroyed, Tech Jacket survives. Now we can guess the same thing happens with these two Steve variants in this universe, where instead maybe the Swiftness Iron Golem throws something at real Steve and then the Golem blows himself up with TNT. We can only speculate. Now looks wise, Skin Tight Steve is pretty cool looking and very odd looking. It's kind of like if Minecraft was in a circle. That's what I would describe Skin Tight Steve looks as. But overall, with a very weird look of him, there's not much interesting about his looks. Weird wise, his skits are pretty interesting, I'll say that. Some of the skits he comes up with, you know, putting Minecraft into actual real life and playing the part as Steve, is pretty odd, but it is what it is. Strength wise, this guy was able to beat a Swiftness Iron Golem. Like, it's very hard to beat that even in the Minecraft movie where this Swiftness Golem is at. So I think overall, just putting numbers out there, he deserves a 2 out of 5. Skin Tight Suit Steve. And that are the 8 variants we have right now. I think there are way more Steve variants that I need to do the research on. If this video hits like 1k likes, I'll make a part 2. I promise. Because honestly guys, the research I had to do and the things I had to watch was crazy. Like, and maybe it's part 2, maybe not. But I'll see you in the next one.